Good evening, everyone. My name is Christopher Murphy, and I am an assistive technology instructor, and I would like to welcome you to this presentation called Everything You Wanted to Know About Running Your First Zoom Meeting. Before I start actually talking about this, I just want to go over a couple of housekeeping items. This meeting is being recorded for the eventual upload to YouTube. It's not being live streamed on Facebook right now, but it will be when we get a little bit further on in the presentation itself. Please remain muted until we open the floor up for questions. When we do that, if you are a Windows user and want to mute or unmute yourself, you can press Alt-A. If you're a phone user, it doesn't look like we have anybody on the phone right now, you can press *6 to mute or unmute yourself. If you want to raise your hand to ask a question, if you're a Windows user, it's Alt-Y. To lower your hand, it's Alt-Y. If you're a Mac user and want to mute or unmute yourself, it's Command-Option-A and Command-Option-Y to raise or lower your hand. If you're using a smartphone or a tablet, you'll look for the reactions button and raise or lower your hand that way, and the mute button is located sort of towards the bottom right hand side of the screen. As I said before, this is everything you wanted to know about running your first Zoom meeting. And Zoom, as we all know, is a platform where meetings can be held for social events, group events, or pretty much anything that you can think of. And we all got really comfortable with it back in 2020 when we were all stuck in our houses and really had nowhere to go and really couldn't interact with people. So that was one of the main reasons why we all got so familiar with what Zoom was. But you don't see all of the things behind the scenes when a meeting's being planned, when a meeting has been scheduled, when a meeting is being run. You don't see all of the stuff that actually goes into it. And this particular presentation was requested because not a lot of people know actually how to run a Zoom meeting. So I wanted to put this presentation together so that we could explore how to schedule a Zoom meeting, how to admit people from the waiting room if there's one enabled, how to assign co-hosts, and I'll talk about all of these things here in just a few minutes. The first thing that I want to talk about is actually scheduling a Zoom meeting. And before I do that, I'm going to share my screen so that those who are able to will be able to hear this and understand it. You may or may not be able to see what's on my screen, so I apologize in advance if that's the case. So let me share my screen.
If you are starting screen, application, maximize content on, share sound, select this option, checked. Select, optimize, share Zoom windows, check box, share screen button, show the
Video select. You have started screen share. Press
So, the first thing we're going to talk about,
participants.
the most important thing, is scheduling a Zoom meeting. Unfortunately, we won't be able to start the meeting because we're actually in one. But the first thing that I want to mention is a lot of these things you can do on your phone. Some of these things we're going to talk about today, you can do from your phone, but a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about is a little bit easier to do from the computer. You can do it whether you're using a Windows machine or a Mac, and these things can be accomplished this way. You can either do it through the desktop app, which is what we're going to be using, or you can do it through the website. Just be aware, though, that Zoom does frequently update, so sometimes things will change location, and it may be a little more difficult to actually find certain things. But let's talk about scheduling a Zoom meeting. And just a reminder, if you are unmuted, please make sure to mute yourself.
JAWS Pro. Zoom Workplace. Zoom Workplace.
So they've also changed the name of this app as well to Zoom Workplace. It used to be called Zoom, now it's Zoom Workplace. So if anybody hears a difference in the name of the app, especially with JAWS saying it, they've made that change. So that's one of the things that we've had to kind of get used to.
Zoom Workplace.
As changes have gone on. So to schedule a Zoom meeting, we have two windows open right now. We have the meeting window open itself, and I've alt-tabbed over to the Zoom Workplace window in order to schedule this meeting. So what I need to do is I'm going to tab.
Back alt left history button, search home 1, open, show AI, Zoom, pro tip.
Now sometimes this doesn't really remain focused very easily, so you kind of have to fight with it just a little bit. So I'm going to hit alt left arrow.
Alt left arrow, home 1 of 6 tab.
To get back to the home tab, because that's where we want to go to schedule this meeting. If you need to cycle between tabs, which you can do, you can click on them if you're a mouse user, go from one tab to the next, or if you're a keyboard user, you would hit either alt left arrow or alt right arrow to cycle between the tabs. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to tab over to schedule.
Open active Zoom pro tip. You could do buy now, dismiss settings, but return to schedule button.
Now sometimes when you're going through these areas of Zoom, you'll encounter some pop-ups. They're trying to get you to, if you're a pro user, to upgrade to different packages and try to kind of sales pitch you into buying certain things. You can dismiss these, so just try to dismiss them the best you can. They've started doing that recently, and it's a little bit inconvenient. So as you're going through this, just be aware that you may actually have to dismiss some of these messages. But I'm going to press enter on schedule.
Enter, loading, Zoom calendar. You have a topic, edit, Christopher.
Now, the first thing that pops up is the topic. So this is the title of the Zoom meeting. So in this case, it says Christopher Murphy's Zoom meeting. I'm going to go to the end of the line and delete all this text and call it workshop.
Double ORKSAOP TESZOOM
Now, if you're a mouse user, you would click into the next field, but because I'm a keyboard user, I'm going to tab. This is a regular dialog box that we're in right now, so we can either tab to go forward or shift tab to go backwards. So the first thing that we just did was enter the title of the Zoom meeting, so we're going to press tab.
Date and time, start date, edit, combo, collapse, read only, 8/21/2025. Enter
Now,
to select, then use all 4 arrow keys to move through dates. Enter when finished.
So JAWS is giving us a little bit of a hint as to how to navigate this. It is probably doing that because I have the Zoom scripts for JAWS. I don't know what it would do without those, but with the scripts, it's giving me a little bit more of a navigation assistant. So if you are a Zoom script user, you probably will get those hints, but if you're not, you may or may not. The first thing we need to do is press enter here, or if you're a mouse user, you'd click into this field and select what date we're going to schedule this for. We're going to schedule this for, let's say Saturday, so we have to press enter.
Enter, expanded, August 21st, 2025, Thursday button.
Now, if you're a mouse user, you can click into these and be able to select the date, but because I'm using the keyboard, we have to use our arrow keys. So you either have to use your left, right, up and down arrows, and if we go down, we go by day. If we go to the right or left, we go by
August 22nd, 2025, right, August 28th,
Actually, if we go down and up, we go by week. If we go to the right, we go by day. So we're going to schedule this for Saturday.
August 22nd, 2025, August 23rd, 2025, Saturday button.
Now, in order to confirm this change, we have to press enter. If we don't do that, this date is not going to stick. So if we tab away from this, and sometimes it can be a bit of a struggle, it may not actually stick. So we're going to press enter here.
Enter. Date and time. Start date, edit, combo, collapse, read only, 8/23/2025. Enter to select, then use all 4 arrow keys to move through dates. Enter when finished.
So we get that hint again. Now we have to select a time.
Start time, edit, combo, collapsed, 6 p.m. Type of value, then down arrow to select. Enter when finished.
Let's actually change the value just slightly.
Enter, 6 p.m. 73 of 96. 6:15, 6:30 p.m.
We'll schedule it for 6:30. So again, we have to press enter here, or if you're a mouse user, you would click on this in order to confirm the choice. So let's press enter to confirm this.
Enter. Start time, edit, combo, collapsed, 6:30 p.m. Type of value, then down arrow to select. Enter when finished. Darlene McGraw.
Now we're going to keep getting those hints from JAWS if you're a keyboard or JAWS user, because if you have the scripts, like I said, you're going to get a little bit more prompting from JAWS itself as to what to do, which is actually a good thing. Zoom in general is accessible out of the box, so this is pretty standard for the most part. Now we have to select an end time. So we can specify how long we want this meeting to actually be. So we're going to press Tab again, or if you're a mouse user, you would click into the next field.
End time edit combo collapsed. 7 p.m. Type of value, then down arrow to select. Enter when finished.
Now this is assuming that we want the meeting to be an hour, but let's, for demonstration purposes, say we want the meeting to be 2 hours. So let's press Enter or click into the field if you're a mouse
Enter.
user.
7 p.m. 7:15 p.m. 8 p.m.
We'll say
8:15 p.m.
All right, so it's 2 hours and 15 minutes long. You can make these meetings as long or as short as you want them to be. Also, keep in mind that if you are not using a Pro Zoom account, you're going to have some limitations because you're only going to have 40 minutes. So it's going to be very, very difficult to have a long Zoom meeting. So you won't have as much flexibility. You'll have to keep creating new meeting invitations, and it gets to be a bit of a hassle, but we'll answer some questions about that towards the end. So we've got the end time established now. So we're going to press Enter to confirm this.
Enter. End time edit combo collapsed. 8:15 p.m. Type of value, then down arrow to select. Enter when finished.
So we've got the start and end times set. So now, if you're a mouse user, you're going to click into the next field, or you're going to tab if you're a keyboard user.
End date edit combo collapsed. Read only. 8/23/2025. Enter to select. Then use all 4 arrow keys to move through dates. Enter when finished.
Now, we can, if we wanted to make this meeting over a 2-day period, which we could do, we can actually do that, or a multiple day period, which means that the link and everything else would be active that entire time. It gets a little more complicated when we get into recurring meetings because you actually have to go on the website to do that. We're going to say, for testing purpose, for this purpose, we want the meeting to also be on the 24th.
Enter. Expanded. August 23rd, 2025 Saturday button. August 24th, 2025 Sunday button.
So this is just assuming that you needed to schedule a meeting for 2 days, or you could have left it on the 23rd. I pressed the right arrow to get to the 24th, and I'm going to press Enter. So this means after I do this, that this meeting invitation will be active for 2 days starting at 6 o'clock. Now keep in mind we're in Central Time right now. We can change that, of course, if we need to. But let's press Enter to confirm this choice.
Enter. End date edit combo collapsed. Read only. 8/24/2025. Enter to select. Then use all 4 arrow keys to move through dates. Enter.
So we're still going to get those hints. I just pressed the Control key to stop it from speaking. We need to go to the next field in this dialog box.
Select edit combo collapsed. Central Time.
Now here is where you would change the time zone. You can change the time zone to pretty much any time zone, but if you're in Central Time like I am, that's what it defaults to. You could change it to Eastern Time or any other time zone that we want. The person, of course, getting the meeting invitation would get it in their time zone, but let's actually investigate this just a little bit.
Enter. Central Time. Panama. Bogota. Lima. Acre. Montreal.
So as I'm down arrowing through
Eastern
this,
Time.
we're going to put this on Eastern Time right now. So just using this for purposes of this lesson, this workshop, we want to make sure that we're scheduling this in Eastern Time. So I'm going to press Enter to confirm this choice. You do actually have quite a few other choices of time zones in here if you needed to schedule it for that specific time zone. But like I said before, it does default to whatever time zone you are in. So we're going to press Enter to make sure that this is in Eastern Time.
Enter. Select edit combo collapsed. Eastern Time. Repeat. Never button collapsed as pop-up list box.
Now, this next area of this dialog box is how often do we want this meeting to repeat? So if we press Enter here, or if you click into the field if you're a mouse
Enter.
user.
Expanded as pop-up. Never. 1 of
The
5.
first one is never.
Daily at 7:30 p.m.
Daily at 7:30.
Weekly on Saturday.
Weekly
3
on
of 5.
Saturday.
Monthly on the 23rd.
Monthly on the 23rd.
Every weekday Monday to Friday.
Every
5 of
weekday
5.
Monday to Friday.
Custom 1 of 1.
And we could go in and customize this and actually set it to recurring, but we don't want it to repeat more than once. So we're going to go back up to the top.
Home never. 1
So
of 5.
back to never. So we're not going to make any other changes here. So we're going to press the tab key.
Zoom calendar document. Invitees edit combo. Generate automatically radio button checked. 1 of 2.
Now, as we've gone through a little bit forward in the scheduling area, it says generate automatically. This is referring to your meeting ID. You have a personal meeting ID that's used by default if you're actually starting a Zoom meeting. And I'll actually write up some detailed instructions about that because we're limited right now. I'll send them out probably with the YouTube link because there are some things, like I said, that we can't do right now. But it's always important when you're scheduling a Zoom meeting to try to use a different ID than your personal one, because you may not want people to have that personal ID that you use or you've created. So you have generate automatically, which is the first series of buttons over here. These are radial buttons.
Personal meeting ID 570.
I'm going to stop that from talking, and I'm going to go back up to generate automatically. So the second option is my personal ID. I'm going to go back up to generate automatically.
Generate automatically.
So that means that Zoom is going to generate a random meeting ID based upon the selections we've actually chosen. So I'm going to press tab, or if you're a mouse user, you click into the other field.
Generate agenda new button.
Generate agenda new. They've introduced a lot of different things here with some AI things. We don't really have to worry about that unless you do want to use that, so we're not actually going to worry about that right now. We're going to skip this and actually continue on.
Generate agenda button. Can only add 1 whiteboard and 20 files in total.
Now, the whiteboard stuff is not accessible for screen reader users, unfortunately, so we're going to skip past all of this.
Add attachments button collapsed as pop-up list.
We're going to keep going.
Passcode. Only users who have the invite link or passcode can join the meeting. Checkbox checked.
So this is important. So depending on your actual Zoom options and your setup, if you have this box checked, that means that only individuals with the passcode can enter it. And we'll talk about invitations in a few minutes. But all of these options are what we're going to do to schedule this meeting. So we're going to tab forward, or if you're a mouse user, click into the next field.
Passcode edit 3373.
Now, this passcode you can generate. You can actually customize one, or you can have Zoom generate one. I use a specific passcode for certain things, but you don't actually have to do that. You can have Zoom generate a unique one, but we're just going to continue on.
Passcode learn more, but waiting room. Only users admitted by the host can join the meeting. Checkbox not checked.
Now this is important. So as all of you remember, when you came into this meeting, you were in the waiting room. So think of it as a doctor's office. You're waiting for the doctor in the waiting room, and they're going to come get you or admit you. So in this case, if we...
Oh, waiting room. Only users admitted by the host can join the meeting. Checkbox not checked.
If we don't check this checkbox, that means that anybody can come into this room at any point that we're scheduling. If you don't want people to come in at a specific time, this is your protection. So for the sake of this, we actually are going to turn this option on and enable the waiting room. If you don't, like I said, anybody will be able to come into your room at any time, and it's important if you're preparing for a presentation that if you want to do something like that and work out all the technical glitches, to have that enabled. So we are actually going to enable that right now. So I'm going to press space on this checkbox.
Space checked. Only authenticated users can join. Sign in to Zoom. Checkbox not checked.
Now, this is another important option to know about. Only authenticated users can join. If you check this checkbox, that means that if someone's trying to join your meeting without a Zoom account signed in, they're going to have a whole bunch of problems and they won't be able to get in, and it's going to be very difficult for them to do it. So leave this checkbox unchecked when you're scheduling these meetings, because it's going to make it, like I said, much more difficult. Sometimes people will just sign in from their phone and it not be logged into Zoom, or their computer, it doesn't have a Zoom account signed in. This allows anybody that needs to sign into that room when they get that information.
AI companion grouping automatically start. AI companion checkbox not checked.
This is more about the AI companion stuff with the new Zoom features. You can actually have that assistant help in some cases with summarizing and a whole host of other things. We're going to skip past that for now, and I'll answer questions about it later.
More information about automatically start AI companion button collapsed. Automatically start meeting questions checkbox not checked.
So this is another thing you can actually automatically start meeting questions. These are all new things that Zoom has put in this scheduling area recently.
Automatically start meeting summary checkbox not checked.
More about AI.
Meeting summary template. Select summary template, edit, change default summary template, enable continuous meeting chat checkbox check.
Enable continuous meeting chat. This means that you could actually have a chat history going from the inception of this meeting right through till it's over with and then some, and it will actually save the chat log. We're not going to check this checkbox, so
enable continuous meeting chat checkbox checked.
We're going to uncheck the checkbox right now so we don't enable continuous meeting chat.
Space not checked. More information about continuous meeting chat, but toggle button pressed.
So we're going to continue to tab, or if you're a mouse user, you would continue to click into these fields if you do want to change these options.
Toggle button pressed. Telephone and computer audio radio button checked. 3 of.
So these next set of options are how people can access the meeting with either telephone or computer audio.
Dial in from the United States. Edit button.
So these are options where you can actually set where people can dial in from, whether it's the United States or other countries around the world.
Google Calendar radio button checked. 2 of 3. Advanced button collapsed.
Advanced button. So let's either, if you're a mouse user, click into this or press enter here and go into this.
Enter expanded.
So now I'm going to tab.
Allow participants to join anytime 5 minutes before start time checkbox checked. Type of value then down.
So this means that you can actually set up how early you want people to join a meeting. If you want them to join before you, sometimes people will actually join a Zoom meeting before the host gets in, even if there's a waiting room, or try to, and they'll just have to wait.
Mute participants upon entry checkbox not checked.
Mute participants upon entry. If you check this checkbox, that means that anybody that comes into your Zoom room will be muted upon entry, and they will actually have to unmute themselves to speak. All of you were actually muted upon entry when you came in here, since this is a presentation.
Automatically record meeting checkbox not checked.
Automatically record meeting. If you check this checkbox, the meeting will automatically be recorded.
Approve or block entry for users from specific countries, regions checkbox not checked.
So this is pretty self-explanatory. Approve or block people from specific countries or regions. We're not going to do that unless we actually had to.
Alternative hosts, John Company, edit combo.
We could actually assign alternative hosts to this meeting as well if we needed to do that, or if I wasn't going to be present, for example.
More options button.
And
save opens calendar.
If I press enter on this, which I'm going to do, or if you're using the mouse and you click into this, it will actually save it. So I'm going to save this meeting right now, which means that it's going to go off on my phone at like at a certain time on Saturday.
Enter. Zoom Workplace. Schedule button. Opening new.
Okay.
Sign a group.
So I'm going to exit this window.
Alt F4. JAWS Prof. Zoom Work. Screen. JAWS. Screen sharing meeting.
So we've just scheduled our first meeting, and there's a lot to it. And if you have any questions, definitely let me know as we get towards the end. To start this particular meeting, which we can't do yet, I'm going to actually guide you through the process of doing that, even though we can't start the meeting specifically. And like I said, I will actually include some other resources as to how to do that as a addition to this when I send out the YouTube link a little bit later on,
JAWS
probably
Zoom
in the
Workplace.
next day or so. So, how do we start this meeting that we just scheduled? Well,
Lost focus.
we actually have to be
Screen share. Schedule button.
on the second tab, which is Meetings tab. So if you're a mouse user, you would click into the second tab, or if you're a keyboard user, you're going to hit Alt right arrow.
Alt right arrow. Meetings 2 of 6 tab selected.
And there's 6 tabs here. We're not going to really worry about the rest of these tabs. So in order to do this, we have to keep tabbing until we actually hear JAWS say Meetings list. And if you're a mouse user, you would click on the Meetings list and be able to select it from
Open
there.
active. Open cal. Show AI comp. Zoom. Christoph. Pro tip. Scheduling. Buy now. Dismiss banner message.
See, it's trying to get
button.
me to buy this Zoom scheduler. I'm not doing that.
Calendar area. Previous month. Next month. August 20th. Christopher Murph. Personal meeting. Connect calendar. Toggle calendar. Add a meeting. Today button. Previous day. Next day. Through August. Refresh button. Filter cal. Change view. Meetings list.
So this is Meetings list. So these are all the meetings that we've scheduled. So if we down arrow,
9 a.m. to 12 p.m. 5:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. Workshop test Zoom meeting. Christopher Murphy sat. Hog 23 host. Christopher Murphy has pop-up.
now we can't start this meeting because we're already in this meeting. But
More options for workshop test Zoom.
if we tab over to the left, or if you click as a mouse user into that second field, and since I'm a keyboard user, I'm going to press Enter.
Enter context menu. Start meeting 1 of 5.
We can't do that because it'll kick us out. But that's where you go to start the meeting. You either have another option here.
Start from room only. 2.
Start from room only.
Copy invitation.
Copy invitation.
Edit 4 of 5.
Edit.
Delete 5.
Or delete. I'm actually going to copy the invitation because I know there was a question about
Edit.
that.
Copy invitation 3
So
of
if I
5.
press enter on here, this is actually going to copy the invitation to the clipboard. So we want to do that.
And leaving menus. More options. Screen sharing me.
So, like I said, I'm going to include some additional resources about how to start that meeting and actually start a regular meeting from your personal ID because, like I said, we're limited on the things that we can do right now, but I will actually include those resources. The next thing I want to talk about is the difference between a host and a co-host of a Zoom meeting and what that actually means before we actually assign another co-host. Brandon is actually the co-host of this meeting, but the host of the meeting, which is me, has complete control over everything in the meeting. I can end the meeting. I can assign other people to be co-hosts, which we'll talk about in a second. I can live stream to social media, which we will do as a final step, and I can do various other things. So I have complete control over the meeting. So the person that's running the meeting, which is you, after you've scheduled it and started it, you have complete control over that meeting. So that's why you are what we would consider the host. If you want to have someone assist you in that and give them some control, then you would assign a co-host to the particular meeting that you're running, which actually helps a lot, especially if you've got a lot of people coming in and out and they need to be readmitted. Then you would actually assign a co-host. So I'm going to actually go through and assign somebody else at random who is in here right now, co-host, just to demonstrate that. If you are using the keyboard and want to get in the participants window, you would press Alt-U to do that. So I'm going to do that now.
Alt-U. Participants 10 panel not.
Sometimes
Participants 10.
a little bit.
Alt-U. Christopher Murphy host me.
So it says I'm the host. If I down arrow,
Brandon Heinrich co-host guest. Computer audio muted. Video on.
so the second person is Brandon, who's a co-host. What I'm going to do is I'm going to assign someone else to be the co-host of this meeting so that they have some control.
Misty Hagen guest.
So the next person that I'm coming to is not co-host because it says this person's name and then it says that they're a guest. That's how I have my Zoom meeting set up. So that means they have no
The
control
time is 6
over
o'clock
anything in
PM.
the Zoom room. They can't do anything. They can just leave or come back into the Zoom meeting itself. In order to make them a co-host, if you are a mouse user, you would click into the participants window, find their name, go to more, and assign to
Judy Weber.
co-host. So, but because I'm a keyboard user, I actually have to tab. So I'm going to tab till I hear more options.
Participants mute button. Input search Misty Hagen mute button. More options for Misty Hagen button drop down.
So it says more options for Misty Hagen, so I'm going to press enter.
Enter.
Sometimes this doesn't work.
Input search more options to manage all mute all alt invite alt got it button. They can not only control the new co-host close button new co-host abilities. They can not only control got it button enter stays
Okay.
participants more option mute all alt invite close but you can now more option ask to unmute Carolyn more options for Misty Hagen button dropped.
So I want to find Misty Hagen again,
Brandon Misty
and I want to make her another co-host. You can have a few co-hosts per meeting, and like I said, these help out because you can actually delegate some of those tasks of admitting people, muting people, and doing things to mitigate what's going on in your meeting. If you have to put someone in the waiting room or if you have to remove them from the meeting, you can do that.
Brandon Misty Hagen.
So let's go to more options again.
Misty Hagen mute button. More options for Misty Hagen. Enter context menu chat.
So it says chat,
Stop video.
stop video, pin,
Spotlight for everyone.
spotlight for everyone, which means she would be in complete focus on the screen.
Make host.
Make host, which I don't want to do,
Make co-host.
or make co-host. So if I press enter here, or if you're a mouse user, you would click into this.
Enter. Leaving menus. Make Misty.
Now it's going to ask if I want to do this, and in this case, I do, for the purpose of this. So if you're a mouse user, you're going to click on confirm, or if you're a keyboard user, you're going to tab over to the confirm button.
Make Misty. Learn more. Confirm button.
So this means that when I hit the confirm button, she will have some control over what goes on in the meeting, such as muting people, unmuting people, removing people if necessary, things like that. So I'm going to actually make her co-host now. So you'll see something pop up and you'll hear Jaws say that co-host permission has been granted.
Enter co-host.
So co-host permission has been granted. So that means now there's two people that can do these things. And like I said in the beginning of the presentation, these things that we're doing right now are behind the scenes things that you don't see when someone's doing a presentation. You don't see people assigning co-hosts or admitting people or things like that because all of that's taking place behind the scenes. You're just there watching the presentation and not really able to get the behind the scenes action of what you're doing right now. But the point of this presentation is to get all of you a little more comfortable maybe with running a Zoom meeting. So that's how you assign a co-host. If somebody were to come in the waiting room I think is disabled right now, but if it was turned on and someone were to come in here, because of the settings that are set, you would actually hear a dinging noise indicating that someone's in the waiting room. And then if you are a host or a co-host, you have the ability to let them in. If the waiting room is turned off, they can come in at any point. But like I said before, the waiting room is extremely important if you need to regulate your Zoom room. It's a little easier to regulate things like with a presentation like this, because if you don't have the waiting room on, especially if there's a lot of action going on. The last thing that I want to talk about is we've talked about scheduling a Zoom meeting. We've talked about starting a Zoom meeting, which I will provide further guidance on once we're done with this workshop and I put the YouTube video up. But what if you want to broaden your horizons and broadcast this meeting out somewhere? Well, We're going to talk about that, but as you all know, this meeting is being recorded right now so that it can be later uploaded to YouTube. If you want to record a meeting, you have to either be a host or a co-host to do that, because you can't just willy-nilly record a meeting without permission, and Zoom will have a bit of a hissy fit if you try. So that's another reason why you have to be either a co-host or a host to do that. But if you want to live stream your meetings to social media, which you can do, and we're going to do that in just a second, you have to be the host of the meeting in order to do it. You cannot be a co-host in order to do that. So we're going to actually, very briefly, live stream this meeting to Facebook on my own Facebook page. So you can see what happens. Many of you have attended presentations in the past where we've broadcasted the meeting on Facebook to get the word out there a little bit more, and even to expose the presentation or workshop that we're doing to a broader audience. Right now, it's only available by recording, but they're going to get a bit of a snippet of what happens when we actually live stream this to Facebook. Now, keep in mind, my screen is shared right now, so it might possibly alter my options just a little bit, but we're going to actually attempt to live stream this to Facebook for a couple of seconds. I'll stop it afterwards, but they're just going to, everybody on my page is just going to see this video, a brief little snippet of this video, but it's done to give you a more broader idea of what happens. So in order to do this, like I said, my screen is shared right now, so my options may differ, but I have to Shift Tab, or if you're a mouse user, click over.
Input search, more option, mute all up, invite all type button.
We need to get out of the participants window.
F6, annotation. Annotations. Screen sharing meeting control. Stop share meeting dock to more but show meeting, more button drop down.
Now, in normal circumstances, you would normally see more meeting controls, but because the screen is shared, these options change ever so slightly. I don't know why that is, but that is unfortunately the way it is. So we're going to actually either click into this or press enter if you're a keyboard user. So I'm going to do that.
End context menu, pause, stop, transcript, breakout rooms.
So I'm going to down arrow, or if you're a mouse user, click through the list until you see live stream submenu.
Start build, spotlight this share. Disable and hide names of hide video, hide flow, share computers, turn off or optimize for remote, can pause, stop, transcript, breakout room, start billable out, spotlight this share, disable and hide names, hide video, hide flow, share turn off original, escape.
All right, this is
screen sharing, doc, more, show meeting, slide control, annotate, press to open, pause, share option, but new share all, more options for chat button, chat alt H, more options for participant, open part, video setting, stop video, audio, mute, current, stop share meeting, doc to more button drop down, show meeting, show participants, more button, enter. Pause, stop, pop, remote, optimize, turn off or share, hide floating, hide video, hide names of screen.
I'm actually going to pause the share for a second, so that I can
dock, more button drop down,
get this to work.
Dock to bottom button. Meeting duration 0:58. Stop share alt, expand screen, mute, audio, stop video set, open part, more options for participant, chat alt H button, more open video, stop video, audio, mute, stop share alt S button.
So I'm going to stop my screen share for just a second.
Screen sharing.
And guide you through the process.
Alt leaving.
So my screen share is stopped right now, but I will actually get it back up again once I am able to focus on this, because like I said, they change the options when you're screen sharing. I don't know why, but they do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Shift Tab backwards to more meeting controls. And if you're a mouse user, you would click all the way down till you see live stream submenu. And now we're going to go live on Facebook. So I'm going to press enter here, or if you're a mouse user, you would click on this, and I'm actually going to reshare my screen in just a second.
Enter. Opening new. Leaving menus. Zoom meeting. Loading. Zoom meeting. If you lost maximum content. Share sound till space. Select Optum. Share Zoom Windows. Share screen button. Enter. You have started.
So my screen is reshared again, and now I have the Facebook page of the live stream options open. You can also stream to YouTube, Twitch, and a few others, but we're going to focus on Facebook.
Facebook Personal Microsoft.
Now, the important thing to know here is that you can do one of two things. You can either post it to your own Facebook page, which is what I'm going to do, or if you're an admin of another page, you can actually post it to that page. But because I'm doing this differently, I'm going to post it to my Facebook page. So
Facebook. Main region.
the other thing to note too is that you actually have to give Zoom permission to stream to Facebook, so you will actually have to go onto the website and enable that within Zoom itself.
Main region.
Zoom's been a little funky lately with the internet, so I don't know. I do apologize if it doesn't work correctly.
Facebook main region.
Um,
Facebook app bar toolbar. Facebook main region. Continuous Christopher button.
so it says continue as Christopher, so I'm going to do that.
Enter Facebook document. Loading page. Facebook Personal Microsoft Edge. Loading complete. Broadcast meeting Zoom Microsoft Edge page. Broadcast.
Now this is where we would go to broadcast the meeting on Facebook. So we have some various options here that we're going to look at,
Link graphics heading level 1 live stream Zoom meeting to Facebook Live.
which we want to do. So that means they're going to see a very brief video of me, but I'm going to stop this.
Again, missing image connected. Photographic Christopher Murphy. Zoom meeting title on Facebook. Edit everything you want. Zoom meeting description on Facebook. Edit. Choose where to post your Zoom meeting.
Now this is important. So you have the option to choose where you want to post your Zoom meeting.
Share on your own timeline button collects as pop-up list box.
So we want to share this on our own timeline. There are some other choices in here because I am an admin, but I'm of several different pages. But we're going to leave it set to share on your own timeline. But if we go into this combo box,
Enter expanded. Share to your page.
you have either share to your own timeline or share to your page. We're not going to share it to any specific Facebook page. We're going to share it to my own timeline.
Share on your own timeline. Enter broadcast virtual.
So-
page. Choose where to post. Share on your own timeline button collects at who should see it is. Public button collects at
So I want to make this post public.
go live button.
Now, the minute I press enter on this, we are all going to be broadcasting on Facebook. So, like I said, they're going to see a little bit of a quick video of this presentation, then I'm going to stop it, but you're going to see what happens when we do that.
Public go live button.
So I'm going to hit enter on go live.
Enter unavailable. Broadcast meeting Zoom document.
We just have to wait. Sometimes this takes a second.
Preparing live stream. The host has started broadcasting the meeting on Facebook.
So now, everybody on my Facebook page
Broadcast meeting
is
loading page.
getting a glimpse of this workshop. So right now we're expanding ourselves a little bit to a more broader community.
Alt F menu bar system. Leaving menus. Zoom workplace.
So that means we can broadcast presentations like this, we can broadcast workshops like this, or if you're doing something on Zoom that you find interesting, you can actually broadcast it live to either Facebook or YouTube or any other social media that's listed.
Stop share Alt S button.
So I'm going to stop this live stream.
Mute currently audio set. Stop video only. Video set. Stop off. Mute. Stop meeting direct. Doctor. More button. Show meeting. Slide control. Annotate. Press to open. Pause share alt. Press to open. Present. Pause share alt. Share option. New share alt. More option. Channel date. More option. Open participants. Video. Stop video. Audio set. Mute currently.
I'm going to unshare my screen for just 1 second so I can stop this from broadcasting.
Alt S. Your screen share has been stopped. Zoom meeting. Zoom meeting. End. More end. Meeting. Pause record. Stop. Facebook. Enter. Active streams. Host. The content of this meeting. Stop live stream. Enter. The host has stopped broadcasting the meeting on Facebook. Zoom meeting. Facebook button. Meeting. Pause. Stop
So now they saw a little brief video of the workshop on Facebook.
Participants can now see your...
That means that for just a couple of seconds, they saw exactly what we were doing and what we were talking about, and they heard my jaws coming through Facebook and actually being broadcasted to the internet. But we're actually back to regular recording now. But that's how you share on Facebook. There are, like I said, other social media options out there that you can use, such as YouTube, Twitch, and other things. But keep in mind, like with Facebook, you have to make sure you go into the Zoom website and actually grant permission for that to happen. You just can't actually just start streaming on Facebook. You actually have
Kathy Bryan has left.
That Zoom is logged into Facebook in order to do that. I would now like to open the floor up for questions if anyone has any. I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen, but does anyone have any questions about anything that we've talked about today? I know there was one about a meeting invitation that I'm actually going to... I copied the one from that fake meeting that I scheduled for Saturday, so I'm going to put that into a notepad document right now so that you guys can get a bit of an idea of what
Windows R.
Copy.
LTEPA. Enter. Desktop. Untitled.
So this is assuming that we're going to email it to somebody and send it along. So I'm going to paste this meeting invitation in here, provided it copied itself, so that you can see what you
Christopher
should copy. So the entire text of this meeting invitation is in a text document. You can actually copy it like we did when we were in that meeting, scheduling it, and then trying to start it and send it out in an email. So I'm going to actually down arrow through this.
Blank. Topic. Workshop test Zoom meeting.
So this is the entire text of that meeting invitation that we just scheduled.
Time. Aug 23, 2025, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, U.S. and Canada. Join Zoom meeting.
So here you have the link.
HTTP blank.
Then you have the meeting
Meeting
ID.
862.39.7 passcode 33.
And then you have the passcode. And then below that,
blank. Blank. One tap mobile. 13092053325
So if you're copying this to send it out in an email, or you've pasted it into an email, the only thing that you want to keep
one tap mobile
is the meeting link.
Blank. Blank. Passcode. Meet blank. HT. Join Zoom. HT. Join HT. Join H. Join H.
So I'm selecting just the meeting
join
link.
HT. Blank. Meeting ID. Passcode. Blank. Blank. One tap mobile. 13092053325 8623975798 3373.
And now if I wanted to send this in an email, I would copy it and put it into an email. Or you can paste the entire thing into an email and get rid of the other stuff at the bottom, because below that you have
1312 blank. Join instructions.
You have now join instructions down here at the bottom. You don't need all of that. You can just copy the meeting link and the one-tap mobile information.
Christopher Murphy, task switching, screen sharing meeting.
So I'm going to stop my screen share now and open up the floor for anyone that has questions. If you have a question and want to unmute and ask that question, you're more than welcome to.
Alt S.
Zoom meeting. Next speaker video.
Does anybody have any questions? If you do, raise your hand or say your name and ask your question.
Devin Fernandez raised hand. Devin Fernandez.
Devin?
Oh, the audio now unmuted.
Hey, I got it. Okay, how you doing, Chris?
Good. How are you?
Good, great presentation. I got a couple of questions. I don't want to sound ignorant, but in order to sign up for my own account, I go to what, zoom.com?
Zoom.us. Yep.
Zoom.us. Okay. And then when I'm sending out the invite, um, I can send it out to a group of people with the same invite at one
Yep, you
time.
can. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, and then when I when I select the waiting room, as and I heard this during this presentation, people bouncing on and off.
Yep.
Uh, so when I hear the ding, I go to waiting room and then allow them access into the meeting. Is that how that works?
Yeah, if the waiting room is turned on, um, it's turned off right now, but if the waiting room was turned on, you would hear a little, like, dinging noise indicating that someone was coming in, and you would press Alt U to get into the participants window, and then down arrow to their name. Let's say if we'll use Marilyn as an example. So let's say if Marilyn had left the meeting and come back in, and the waiting room was turned on, you would hear that little ding. You would down arrow to her name, and then you would press enter, press space bar on her name to admit her.
Okay. So when you down arrow to her name, does it say in the meeting or waiting or?
It would say waiting room 1. So like if there was one or two people in there, it would say waiting room 1, and you would down arrow to that particular person's name, and then press the space bar. Or there is an admit all button, actually.
Okay. And as that person is in the waiting room, are they still listening to the meeting or they're
They won't be able to do anything until you let them in. So it's basically the same as like you're waiting to, meet with a doctor, and you can't hear what they're saying through a door, basically, because they can't hear anything that's going on in that meeting until they're in here. But because the waiting room is turned off here, we don't have that security right now, but you can always leave it on when you're creating one, just to have that additional security.
okay, so you didn't enable the waiting room, but you enabled everyone coming in muted.
Well, the waiting room was actually enabled in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes during presentations we'll turn it off, just because it creates a little bit more work. We don't have to turn it off, but it does make it a little bit easier. In the beginning, all of you who came in a little early were actually in the waiting room to begin with, and we let you all in. But sometimes, like I said, we'll turn the waiting room off just to alleviate some work there, especially when we're all trying to do a presentation.
Okay. And just final question. With the 40-minute version,
Mm-hmm.
does it tell you when you're about to run out of time or you just yeah.
When you're in a Zoom meeting, if you when you're in the Zoom meeting and you hit insert T, it'll say Zoom 40-minute mode, and if you tab around that area, it'll actually tell you how much time you have left, or it'll pop up when the meeting's about to end.
Okay. And do you have a list of those commands?
I do, and I can send those to you.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Lowered.
Oh,
I see. Katerina, Brandon, and then Misty.
Hi everybody, can you hear me?
Yep,
We hear you.
we hear you.
Okay. Hi everybody, thank you so much, Chris, for this great presentation. It's always great. And as I asked you before, I see that the one tab mobile went through. You had that. Why there are email invitations for Zoom events where there is no one tab mobile, only these 10 or 15 different numbers without the one tab mobile? What is the difference between the two? How people do that and don't do this?
It depends on what they copy when they're selecting the information to send to you. There's a whole general list of numbers that you can call into Zoom, but if they just copy the bottom ones, it won't have that. One of the things that I always try to make sure to do is copy the meeting ID or the link, the meeting ID, the passcode, and the one tap mobile, just to on the off chance that somebody has to by phone. Makes it a little harder when you don't have that one tap mobile to call in from if you have to. If you all of you who registered actually did get that information because it sent it to you in a confirmation automatically, but it's all about who copies what. If you copy the meeting invitation as a whole, or copy the meeting invitation like we talked about earlier, and then throw it into an email and select what you need to and get rid of the rest of the stuff. It helps a little bit.
So the one tap mobile actually would be always on if the person is copying everything.
Yep. If they copy the link, the meeting ID, the passcode, and the one tap mobile, which is always underneath that bit of information, and send it out, it makes it a little bit more easier for people to call in by phone if they have to. It's rare these days, but you do have people that actually do call in by phone, or if their Zoom's not working, which is, like I said, it's rare that people do that.
Definitely. I'm just surprised why not everybody's getting the one tap mobile on it too. Because that's a lot easier than dialing any other number with.
Because then you have to dial like the 312 number from Chicago, and then enter the meeting ID and then the passcode.
Yeah.
With the one tap mobile, you don't have to worry about it because it's just there. It'll dial it for you. Makes it easier that way.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much. Once I try it, then if I have more questions.
If you have any other questions, let me know, and I'll help out wherever I can.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Brandon?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify for Devin, the waiting room sound is not on by default.
No.
You actually have to go into your Zoom on the website
and turn it on.
And you have to enable the different sounds that somebody is coming in or somebody is doing, whatever. There's a thing on and Chris will have to send this out to all of you that that there's a whole list of things that need to be done for accessibility purposes.
Yep.
And those are that. So if Jaws is talking and you have no idea somebody's in there, that will at least tell you, hey, there's somebody coming in that you need to get access to that. And then just to clarify for Ekaterina, just to say that the one tap mobile, if I don't hit select all and just copy the entire meeting invitation or click the copy meeting invitation and then just paste it in and then send it, that's why it doesn't show up sometimes. Some people edit it just to have the link, the meeting ID, the passcode, and then one phone number. Mm-hmm. We actually, for some meetings that I go to, we actually only put one of the one tap mobiles in there just to shorten it, but it makes sense why it doesn't look like it's there sometimes. So that's all.
The other thing that I wanted to mention too, and I'll include this as an additional resource, is you can actually within the participants window change those options on the fly for a specific meeting if you want those sounds to be heard in the meeting itself. But I'll put that in as an additional resource as well. So I could turn those sounds off right now or make them only for the host and co-host, but I'm not going to do that. Let's see. Misty and then Judy.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. I have a couple of questions. One is from someone that asked me to ask you. If they do not have a computer, can they still make themselves a host in Zoom on their Mac on their iPad?
Yes.
Okay. Now, my question is this, when people come in, let's say on their phone, and you want to change to putting their names up there, a lot of times I've hear people say that, let's say someone's talking while you're trying to type and they
Mm-hmm.
have a hard time doing putting the person's name in. Is there a way to do that even though they're still talking?
Uh, a human being talking, or like voiceover, kind of people just talking over each other type thing. Is that what you're?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Miriam Fink.
So I find it a little easier to do that stuff on the computer versus over the phone. Um,
Uh-huh.
it You can, like, I could. I'm gonna actually share my screen quickly and again just to go over how to do that. But you can hold on.
Shift, select shift, share sound, so space, share screen button, enter, new,
So my screen's shared right now. I'm going to.
screen shift, listening aid,
I'm gonna pick someone at random to rename. I'm gonna rename.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rename myself. Now keep in mind you can do the same things on your phone, but if you've got people talking and you're trying to listen to voiceover, and sometimes it comes through, it's a little difficult to hear.
Okay.
But I'm gonna rename. I'm gonna rename myself. So I'm gonna hit Alt U to go on the participants window.
all new, participant, listening aid, and Christopher Murphy, host, participant, mute button, more options for Crystal, enter context menu, hit, spotlight, edit, rename, enter, rename.
So this is where you would do it on the computer. You can actually do it on the phone too.
And Y.
I'm gonna cut out my last name actually.
Y8P off mute cat space deleted.
So I'm changing myself just to Christopher right now, just because for this purpose, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go over to the change button. But you can do the same thing on your phone, but it's a little more difficult to do that because you're combating with people trying to speak and then voiceover. I don't know if anybody's been on a Zoom meeting where someone's voiceover is coming through, or you're trying to listen to voiceover.
Enter leaving menus.
So I just renamed myself, so I'm only Christopher right now. I'm going to unshare my screen.
All desk, your screen. Misty Hayden, two others raised. All new, Christopher, Misty Hayden, Judy Weaver, Misty Hayden. Participants 9.
Judy.
Judy Weaver, Misty Hayden, lower hand button.
Hi, it's Judy.
F6, Zoom meeting.
I also want to, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you for doing the presentation. And I wanted to ask, like Devin, about the commands. You said you were going to send them out. Is that to everybody, or are you going to put it in the chat? Would that be easier for us to get it out of there? Or?
I will actually send them to everybody that's registered for this so that you all have them. Just to put a blanket list out there. We talked about a lot of different things, but I want to make sure all of you have those commands that we talked about today. Some of them, now keep in mind, Zoom doesn't have 100% hotkey access, so there's a lot of tabbing involved. But for the most part, you can navigate it pretty easily. But I'll document that when I actually send that stuff out.
Thank you. Also, are you being sponsored in any way? Can you get grant money for this, or would you take donation? Are you out of curiosity?
I am doing this completely on my own time, so I don't want to say that I won't, but I am not being sponsored by anybody doing this. I'm doing this completely on my own time.
Well, I hope you get sponsorship sometime. I think it's really great though that you're doing this, voluntarily, and thank you for doing it.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have any questions?
4 participants.
Let's see.
All new, Christopher, Misty Hayden, co-host, Arena Croft, Katarina, and Devin Fernandez.
Let's see.
Misty Hayden, Christopher, Misty Hayden,
Hey, Chris, I just raised my hand again.
Go ahead, Devin.
Okay, another question. When you sent out
F6.
the invite, you sent it out uh, with a registration link.
Yep.
Is that something separate from the Zoom or?
That
5 participants.
is actually something that you enable after you schedule
Hydrogen lower hand.
a Zoom meeting. So for the fake Zoom meeting that I scheduled, you can actually go in and set it up so that you can actually register, but you have to do it on the website. You can't do that part from the desktop app. So let me share my screen briefly
Zoom meet.
and just give you a idea of exactly what
So
you would.
initially, you have to go into the Zoom USA, create your account, and that's where you would set up your profile and.
Download the desktop app and all of that. Well, sign into a Zoom account, but you would create your Zoom account from there. You can actually do it from the desktop app itself. But the registration side of things, you actually have to do on the Zoom website. You can't do it within the desktop app. I can briefly demonstrate this now, or if everybody wants me to send a separate resource out with that information, with everything we talked about, I can do that too. Because the fake meeting for Saturday is actually still in my Zoom account. So
Well, if it's something quick, you can go
yeah,
through.
I can do that. Let me share my screen real quick.
At Mac content. Share sound space. Select option. Share Zoom Windows checkbox. Share screen but enter.
So I've shared my screen again because we're going to actually enable registration
Misty A.
for the fake meeting that we scheduled for Saturday.
Participants can now
So to do this, we're going to tab back to this Alt tab back to the Zoom Workplace window.
JAWS Pro. Christopher Murphy is inviting you. Notepad.
Okay.
Zoom Workplace. Zoom Workplace.
So this is where you can do this. You can either do this, or you can also go through the website. I find it easier to do this through
Katarina and
the Zoom app itself. But we're looking for settings.
back alt history search meeting open show a Zoom pro tip schedule by not dismiss cap previous next month alt
We need
left
to go
arrow
back to
meetings
home
2
tab.
of 6 alt left arrow alt right arrow meetings alt left arrow home 1
So we're on the Home tab now. So this is important. If you want to go into your settings, you have to do it from the Home tab. So you may have to Alt left or right arrow just a couple times to get it back there. So now I'm going to tab to Settings.
open act Zoom pro tip you could do by not dismiss settings button
So I'm going to press Enter on Settings. Now they've changed this just a little bit.
enter settings
So I'm going to tab over to the one time,
general
and I'm going to down arrow to my account.
note meeting record share team access keyboard my account enter my account selected
Now what we have to do, this used to be a little simpler. They made it more complicated. So I'm going to tab to
edit profile Christopher Gmail license edit my pro view my subs view advanced features open and
so we want to view advanced features. So we're going to go press Enter on here. If your mouse user, you click on
enter
this.
opening new window
It's opening Edge, which is my default browser.
loading complete
Give it just a second to load. The web page for Zoom has been a little funky.
settings
I don't know why.
view advanced
Uh,
settings button Christopher screen sharing JAWS sign in Zoom personal
okay.
PC set task switching sign in Zoom virtual sign sign in with Google enter sign in Zoom sign in with heading left and hit Zoom button list of 5 link Christopher
So I'm logging into the main website
loading
now.
virtual
You can either do this with your username and password, your email address and password, but I have it set up so that I actually have to use my email address
virtual
to do
my
it.
setting
So this is the main website where you can control everything Zoom related. So I'm going to down arrow now,
same link toggle list of link Joe link list and link Zoom side nav settings button collapsed
and I'm going to press enter on the settings
enter
button,
expanded my settings Zoom
and I'm going to down arrow to where it says meetings.
side setting person home profile meetings menu
And I'm going to press enter on
Enter
this.
personal menu, meetings, 3 of leave it virtual PC.
And now
My meeting.
I have to press the letter H to go to the next heading.
Meetings heading level 1.
And this is where it gets a little tricky, so I'm going to down arrow until I find the fake meeting.
Sketch today, 9 a.m. Link collab meeting. I launched the edit DN, delete DN 5:30. Link collab. Meeting ID 8. Join end everything you want. Edit everything. Sat og 6:30 p.m. 7:30 p. Link collapsed. Workshop test Zoom.
So this is workshop test Zoom meeting. So you can't press enter here if you know where if you're familiar with your numpad. You actually have to press the star on the numpad, which is the left mouse button, to get it to actually click. It used to be a little simpler than this, but for some reason it doesn't work. So I'm going to press the left mouse button.
Left click, loading page, my meeting Zoom, main virtual piece.
So I'm in the meeting details now. But I have to go to edit in order to enable registration. So I'm going to go to edit.
Meeting information. Security copy you feed English open chat copy and delete button. Save as wrapping the wrap delete button. Copy and open chat English but feedback but copy URL button collapsed.
Sometimes this is a little finicky.
Meeting information.
So I'm going to down arrow all the way till it says edit.
Link manage group stop detail live group tab topic workshop time meeting 8 unsecure group check check that group invite link and read on copy you add to link add video hot art audio tell it dial op allow links copy link edit delete but link edit.
So I'm going to press enter on edit.
Enter loading page meeting information Zoom main content main region virtual.
So the first thing that we want to do is we want to look for something that says enable registration. So the quickest way to get there is, if you're a JAWS user, to press the letter X. The first thing you're going to see is
recurring meeting checkbox not checked.
It's not a recurring meeting, so we want to press X again.
Require registrations checkbox not checked.
And we want to press the space bar on require registrations.
Space edit meeting Zoom require registrations checkbox checked virtual PC.
Now, in order to confirm this, we actually have to go down to save.
Required. Meeting I group stop generate personal group and temp. Edit whiteboard. Learn more on add white dot. Add dot secure group as pasco. Edit 3 only. Waiting room. Waiting only group. Follow select group. Require group and AI automat. Learn more automat meetings. General new meet close pop up. You can now select the
Sometimes this
toggle map meetings button. Add the script recurring meeting check require registrations meeting ID select meeting template virtual PC open can save button.
So I'm going to go to
participants
save
raised link save button enter unavailable edit
and loading. Now registration is enabled. So if you want to send this link out now, we're still in the meeting details. But now you have a couple more tabs. So now you actually, underneath the information,
about heading,
you actually now have
meeting information, link manage scroll group, the email settings tab, through detail group start manage my meeting tab.
So you have a couple other tabs. You have
details tab selected.
Details tab.
Registration tab 2 of 5.
Registration tab.
Email settings tab 3
and
of 5.
You have email settings tab, and there's some other settings in here that you can actually enable. But now,
details tab selected 1 of 5.
If you go to details
enter,
tab,
meeting information Zoom virtual P.
You'll see a link.
Group start about heading level.
Sometimes this jumps.
Meeting link masks group email setting branding lives group tab top workshop time meeting 8 unsecure group check pass show patch check dev group and registration link registration link read only edit https://02 web Zoom us meeting register iutxtyaty copy URL.
So you can copy this link now and actually send it out to people, and they will actually have to register in order to attend this fake meeting that we've created, and then you actually would have to go in and enable
Zoom workplace Christopher screen sharing meeting
your other options.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And I can send a more detailed explanation about how to actually make sure that you get confirmations about registrations. But each person at that point, like all of you did, will receive their own individual meeting link and ID. And there's a little more to registration stuff as well.
All this.
7 for Nanda's 2 up. All new. Crystal. Darlene McCall. 7 for Nanda's guest. Step lower and plus base.
So we have
All
Um,
All new. Darlene, Judith, Christopher, Darlene McCall,
Darlene,
Judy Weaver,
Judy, and
Misty 8, Brandon 9,
I think
co-host
that's it.
6, Zoom, Zoom, 3 participants.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Hi. Hi. Thank you, Christopher, for doing this. I appreciate it. A couple of questions I had. You might not be able to answer this like right here, but with the Zoom features, the basic versus the pro, like, what are the best like options do you think about getting each type of plan, especially if you might be doing more videos and might be going over the time limit, the 40 minutes per meeting?
If you're going to be doing things like this, or you know you really need a longer period of time to conduct something, then paying for Zoom would be a good idea. But if you're just one of those that's going to hop on Zoom for like 40 minutes or whatever, you may not necessarily need to upgrade to Pro. I have a Pro account simply because, well, I do workshops like this. I have other meetings that go on, and they last a lot longer than 40 minutes. So, being a free account, having a free account and a basic and a pro account has its advantages and disadvantages. But, you can do a little bit more. You can have cloud recordings if you need to record meetings and stuff like that too.
Okay. The other question is, if I was doing a Zoom meeting and I wanted to get paid or get sponsors for my meeting, how would that work?
That I'll have to check on. I'm not sure how that would actually work in that case.
Sorry.
I'm sure there's a way to do it. I just am not familiar with that particular way of doing things. I'm sure there's a way to do it, though.
Sorry. Thank you.
All new.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Misty, Brandon 9, Katarina, Christopher, Katarina, Brandon.
Katerina, then Brandon.
I'm sorry, I had a question.
Or Judy, sorry, I skipped right past you.
That's okay. I often, do interviews for the newsletter at Silo, and and I have tried to use the Zoom and for conducting the interview because it does have such a nice recording. But is there a way to access the recording as the host? How do you go in and get your recording? And then so I could listen to it. Without. Is there an easy way of accessing a recording?
Are you using your own Zoom account, or is it your company's Zoom account?
No, it's mine.
Okay, so if you're recording a meeting and you are, let's say, doing it from the cloud, for example, I'm doing it locally through the computer, so when we're done here, it'll save to a folder on my computer. But if you're doing it through the cloud, you'll get an email from Zoom when the meeting has been converted and says, hey, your recording's ready. This is what link you can use to pull it. If you want to record to the cloud and get it that way, you can press Alt-C to do that. If you want to record locally to the computer, which is another thing that you can do, you'd press Alt-R and it would actually record it to the computer and convert it after the meeting is finished. And then you can go wherever your Zoom stuff is stored on your computer, and you can actually change the location of that to is where your recordings on the computer itself would be. Okay. So that's just another way to. I'm just doing it locally because it's just a little easier.
And then if I want to use Word to take notes or look back at my questions, is there a feature in Zoom that'll allow me to use a Word document, or do I have to alt tab back and forth between the two applications?
You can turn on the transcript and have it transcribe things if you want to do it that way. It can transcribe as you're talking. This meeting is actually being transcribed now as we speak. So if the transcript were to be saved, it would literally save everything that we're talking about. and then you could just pick through the transcript and figure out, try to decipher what it's telling you because it's not perfect.
Mhm.
I mean, or two, you'd have to just flip flop between Word and Zoom.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Ekaterina, then Brandon.
Hi again, thank you. I wanted to ask, I'm attending some presentations, and sometimes people have like webinars, and people have questions, and the host, the presenters giving the answers. So that's in the chat box. And sometimes I'm trying to copy and paste that into a document so I can save that to go back later on after the meeting is over. And what happens sometimes, I just get part of it. I don't get the last few minutes of the chat box. Why that happens, do you know? How
Uh,
can I do that to get the whole page, the whole chat
I
box?
mean, you can save the whole chat if they allow you to do it, uh, and it'll save as a text document. I know sometimes it's difficult to copy the chat history because you get a lot of things going on in there. So if they allow you to save the chat in a presentation, unless it's a webinar and that's a whole nother ball of wax, you should be able to save the chat if you go to the chat options and then save it. Sometimes they don't have that setting turned on where you won't be able to save it, where you can't save the chat.
I usually try to copy and paste it into a document myself.
Sometimes it's hard to keep up with.
I get the first part of it, but usually I miss the last
Yeah,
like
I know what you mean. Sometimes I'm trying to pay attention to the chat and Jaws just keeps going crazy. And then I'm like lost because I have to go look at the history.
Mhm. I'm trying to like control A to,
Mm-hmm.
get the whole thing, but it's not giving me everything. And the
No.
last few I noticed just the time and
Mm-hmm.
then doesn't give the text.
Sometimes it's hard to keep track, but like I said, if you can save the whole chat history, if they allow that option, because you can change your chat options, then do that. That might be the better way to do it, or ask them to send it to you. I don't know. Sometimes people will send the chat. Sometimes they won't.
Because sometimes it's just a simple webinar where there are like
Mm-hmm.
100 people or more,
Yep.
so I don't know who's the host, who to ask, so I just try to do it on my own with the copy and paste.
Yeah, webinars are difficult.
'Cause
That's a whole nother set of workshops too. If
okay.
we ever were to get into that, and I'd love to get more familiar with Zoom webinar myself at some point.
So that's different than this.
A little bit.
Oh, okay, I thought it's all the same.
Zoom itself and Zoom webinar is different because you're giving people panel access, and there's a few more steps.
Oh, oh,
Uh,
I didn't know that's different.
mm-hmm. It is. I've actually never played with Zoom webinar, but that's something I want to do at some point just to get that experience.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brandon.
Yeah, real quick, just want to thank Chris for his wonderful presentation tonight. It was a really good presentation. You did a great job. I also want to just clarify the webinar thing now that Ekaterina brought it up. The webinar is a whole nother ball of wax in the sense
Mm-hmm.
that number one, it costs more money. So if Chris is going to play around, Judy, check your text. You might find out why in a second. But just to clarify, the webinars do cost more, and it looks way different to host one of those because there's all kinds of different
You have to
things
give
that have to be added on to that.
Yeah,
So
you have to give people panel access, and then when they're not speaking,
it's to the point that people you don't see people they don't see anybody else.
Nope.
It's really like a hidden thing. And it
Mm-hmm.
got to the point when webinars first started that um it I'll tell a story quickly. We had a meeting that we went on. I think it was for the county, and none of us had ever experienced a webinar before. So we're trying to chat in the chat, and it wouldn't allow us. We had to raise our hand, couldn't figure out how to do that. Then we realized, oh, it's a different thing altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even know how to do this. So it's a whole nother ball of wax. But I'm sure if you speak to Chris and he's interested in doing a webinar series, then we would have to put that together.
My first experience with Zoom webinar ever was when I was attending the first one of the first virtual National Federation of the Blind conventions, and I'm like, what on earth is this? Like, okay, because sometimes the chat would work, sometimes it wouldn't, sometimes you'd be able to raise your hand. So maybe in the near future, I will think about. I might do a webinar workshop. That might be my next venture, and we'll see what happens. Does anybody else have any questions?
I do.
Go ahead, Marilyn.
This is a little off topic, but could you do something like with Teams? I don't know how experienced you are with Teams, because I always have problems with that.
I could. I have to get a little more familiar with it, but that is definitely something that I can do.
Because a lot of times, even at work, the Zooms, like I can get on there with no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But Teams, for some reason, I always have an issue.
There are actual JAWS scripts for Microsoft Teams that are supposed to make it a little more accessible. I might actually consider getting them at some point.
I think they have a free version at which we'd have to talk to IT at work, Marilyn, and they would have to
okay.
Install them. The problem is you don't have the Teams app on your computer. You're only using the web version, and the web version is a million times harder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I have...
I'll talk to you about it tomorrow because I don't want to give too much away on recording.
Okay.
But there was a whole mess when certain people were in charge of IT.
All right. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions? I think I saw someone's hand going up and down again. I'm just looking. Anybody else? Darlene?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for doing this. It was very appreciative and very helpful. Sorry I was kind of late. My internet was a little broken because a pole went down earlier this morning.
Oh, boy.
Someone ran their car into the pole early this morning.
Oops. That would do it. I will, before we wrap up, unless anyone else has any other questions, I will be sending all of you my information. If anyone has any follow-up questions, definitely feel free and ask those questions, and I will definitely answer them. And if you have any other suggestions for workshops, please let me know. Like I said, this is completely done on my own time. This is not being sponsored by anything. This is just something that I did, and Devin, I wanted to.
Agent 133.
Yeah. I know this was requested specifically too, but things like this I actually enjoy doing. So, I really enjoy doing these. So if anyone has any other
mute my audio
ideas, please feel free and let me know. But if there's no further questions, one last call for questions.
The time is 7:00 p.m. Devin Fernandez has left.
If anyone doesn't have any other questions, I wanted to thank all of you very, very much for coming tonight to be able to learn a little bit more about how to actually run a Zoom meeting. I wanted to also mention before we wrap up that you can actually schedule meetings on your phone as well. But it is a little easier to do it on the desktop app itself. You can do a lot of the things some of the things we were talking about on your phone or your tablet using the Zoom app, but there are some limitations. It is, like I said, a little easier to do it using the desktop app. If anyone wants to come to that fake meeting on Saturday, I'll send you the registration link. No, just kidding. But like I said, I wanted to thank all of you for coming tonight. It's been a true blast to do this workshop, and I definitely look forward to doing this stuff in the future. So thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you, Chris. It was excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.